Yeah, it was a pretty incredible week for the Hardrockers, no doubt about it. And I was thinking that I was telling Ann, my wife, that is, you know, I can't imagine in any school, and in much less our school in the history, that just to play 4 games in a week, and then of course both teams winning them, and then throwing the BH game in there was a pretty cool deal. And our week started out even better. As good a week as we had, and probably the best week of my entire career, and probably the best week that'll ever happen. But we started out with signing 2 kids. Our early signing period was through the 21st, and we signed. We got a phone call or a couple phone calls before I left for the Black Hills game that we got 2 commitments. So you look at the Black Hills game, and that's cherry on top of the cake, as they say, and that's never the case with a Black Hills game. So that's kind of how I looked at it, is going into that, and it was a pretty fun game and all those kind of things. But in the coaching world, recruiting is everything, and to get a couple kids before we even go to that game, win that game, and then turn around and do what we did, playing 3 games in a row is, I didn't want the week to end, even though thank goodness the week's over. So it's kind of nice to be where we're at right now at 5-2. Have the Black Hills game behind us, but we have a long ways to go. Our kids understand that, but I couldn't be more proud of a group of guys just coming out and playing their tails off and going out and competing and doing what needs to be done. So, starting out with the Black Hills game, kind of back and forth, up and down. They hit a bunch of shots, basically the first 10 minutes of both halves, and we just kind of kept plugging away. We had a number of guys that came in and did some different things. We're playing 10 guys right now, and to be honest, it could be any of those 10 guys are going to have the best game. So hopefully somebody steps up and continues to step up. But when you got 10 opportunities or 10 chances for different guys to do it, hopefully that continues, that they do that. But it's a fun time to go up there and beat them. I know we've beat them up there, a number of times the last few years. I know they're ranked in the top 10 a couple different times, and we go up there and beat them. And we just don't know what to expect this year with our guys, or didn't know. Now we know that our guys can play a little bit, so it's kind of fun. The last 3 games, oh man, we had leads, and then teams would come back, and then we had then we're down, and we'd come back. It was just up and down, and a lot of fun for our guys to just, or for coaches and the fans, just to see our guys once again compete, play their tails off, and like Coach Felderman said, nothing really fazed them. It's we get up by 10 and they make a little bit of a run, we come back and get a big hoop, whatever the case is, and then down the stretch in the first game. They come back, do what they need to do again, and we had a 1-point lead, and shot clock running down, and a freshman hits a 25-footer with a guy in his face. So it's just crazy things that players make plays, as we say. The coaches can't do everything. They can't make a 15-footer from the bench. Players got to get it done, and our players have been doing that. So next night out, once again, we played a very good Dakota Wesleyan team, and that's as good a victory as I think we've had all year. You throw in the Kearney game that Kearney beats Colorado Mines, and they beat Shadron like we talked about before, and they're a very good team, and just open up the season beating them was an incredible win for us. But then you throw in a couple of these last ones too, and it's a great start to the season. But like I told those guys too, as we were also out in Sioux Falls a couple weeks ago, and kind of got to hand it to us a little bit. So we know we got a ways to go, but guys making plays and doing what we need to do to get the wins. We're pretty excited where we're at, but we got to keep getting better. With this week too, we're doing the same thing as Coach Felderman's team is obviously taking today off, which is huge for everybody. But then tomorrow, just doing some individual work, and playing that game on a Saturday is really nice to have that extra day, and our kids definitely need that. So we're excited where we're at. There's no question about that. To be 5-2 and come basically away from the best week in Hardrocker history by both of our teams, and the other things with it. We're excited where we're at, but we know we got a long ways to go still. Questions?
Connor Coolis playing unbelievable.
Connor Coolis is a fine young man. He started a few games. We had once again, Kelvin Thomas is a kid that when he plays, I think I was telling Tom the other day, is in our pregame interview, is, when Kelvin plays, we seem to win. Last year he was hurt for a number of our games, and we didn't win very many of those games. This year he's been hurt for 2 of our games, and we've lost those 2 games. So guy that stepped in for him and playing that 4 spot, and we were planning to redshirt Connor this year, and he's just physically, especially at the D2 level, and the matchups and that kind of stuff, is he's a little bit undersized thickness-wise, but god darn it, the kid makes up for it in every other aspect of the game as far as outworking kids, skill level. We were talking about that at our table here while we were eating, is just making free throws. I mean, he just absolutely kept us into games. Was it Black Hills game? He makes all those free throws in that game just to keep us close and keep us plugging away. Last couple years, guys step up and we miss a couple of those, we probably don't win the game. So not only did he basically is the reason why we won last night, he comes in off the bench, and I think he had all 9 of his points in the second half when we were really struggling to score against their zone. And, he just finished around the basket. Like I said, he's very skilled, but for how skilled he is, he works even that much harder. So he's a kid out of Wisconsin that, 2 or 3 years ago, we would have never had a chance to get that kid. For him to travel that far away, he got across the river without sinking. Those people from East River that don't think they can get across the river. So he paddled and had a life jacket on or whatever the case is, but he made it, and now he's being successful here. So we're excited about his process, but hopefully we can keep him in the weight room and keep plugging away with him as well. Anything else?
Andrew Rebel, how are you going to bring him along with Caleb out for the second semester? How are you going to try to develop Andrew?
Well, Andrew's another very good player for us. He's actually been hurt. That's why it looks like he's, the development of him is coming along and only playing a few minutes here and there. He's been hurt. He's got an ankle that's this big and all different colors, and he played against Kearney and should not have been on the floor. And we ended up playing him 2 or 3 minutes, I think, and he had a basket and a couple rebounds. I mean, that's, coach, whatever you need me to do. Well, so we've kind of kept him, on the bench and trying to get that part coming, where those guys basically could be split in time like a lot of our other guys. We feel like we're too deep, but what Andrew brings for us is just, when you're 6'8", 260 pounds, big, strong guy, he can finish around the basket. He actually saw him, I think last night, against his zone, step up, hit the 15-footer, knock down free throws. I mean, he can do those things. He's a kid that came to us, and he started 20 games as a true freshman at a Division I school. So, he's played against some competition. Last year, he got hurt, tore up his knee, and redshirted for us all year, but in our program, but wasn't at practice every day too. So just with our system and all those kind of things, he's got a ways to go. But then we had matchup issues against Viterbo where they don't have a true post, so he didn't play a lot of minutes that first game, even though he's getting healthy. So he's going to continue to play. It's the same with the rest of the guys too on down the line of the bench with Justin Shook. He's got to play a lot, assuming he's going to play some minutes the second semester, but he's another one that's been hurt. So we're trying to get him in and doing some things, but a lot of that's going to happen in practice and keep getting better that way. But the best part of our practices is they're like games. I mean, when you have, and once again, I was just telling the table here where we're sitting with, we got a Mike Dietz, Lance Kilburn, even like an Evan and Steven and some of those guys that are on our red shirt team, even if they're not red shirting and just maybe our 11th, 12th guys this year, but some of those kids that are red shirting, literally 3 to possibly even 4 of those guys could be starting for us next year. So imagine that as your third string going against our guys every day in practice, and that's where we're getting better. Where last year when we had so many injuries, we didn't have a good second team. We only had 3 guys and then about 4 posts that couldn't play some of the guard spots. So, to have guys like Joe Newkirk and some of those guys on that red shirt team, that's where a Justin Shook and an Andrew Rebel can really get better, even if they're not getting some of that playing time right now, because we're going to need them in the second semester. There's no question about it.
How about the point guard situation?
Well, once again, Dennis came in, and, he's an older kid. He's 21 years old. He played at a junior college, transferred in last year for us, and really good with the ball, really heady, a true point guard that sees the floor well. I don't know if he's taken more than 5 shots the entire season, and he just can control the game. Well, we go to Sioux Falls, and he was sick all week, and he's just getting over that sickness that my whole family has, and half of the school and half of Rapid City has. So he's really been down until basically the last couple games where he's finally getting his strength back that way. But then you got a guy like a Philip Shanelek that can step in, and we've all seen what Philip has done for us, not only hitting that shot, but he took over a game against Kearney. He's played well on the road, those kind of things. So we're excited about our 2 point guards. There's no question about it. But one's more of a scoring point guard, and Philip, he can do a lot of things with the basketball. He's quick off the bounce. And then you have a Dennis that kind of gives you a little bit more of a true point guard. Sees the floor, gets more guys involved, and away you go. Not that Philip doesn't, because he's had plenty of those dishes for dunks that we all like to see and get us excited. But, we're excited about our 2 point guards. Got to do a better job in practice of getting us a little bit more prepared for some of the pressure that we're going to see, especially when we play some of those quick point guards, which we saw the second night, and they give us a little bit of trouble. And some of the freshmen comes out of Philip once in a while, and then Dennis, just making sure that we can handle some of those things as well. Excited about our point guards too, though. Anything else? All right. Well, thanks so much for coming again. We do play Dickinson on Saturday, and then we're back at home a month and a week later. So hopefully we'll have a good crowd on Saturday. Thank you.